You're in for a treat. It's a tag team. They work together. They're both brilliant at explaining innovation when you need it, how to train people to do it, when to implement, and how to implement it. I'm going to start off with Jim Harris. Jim was the former national leader of the Green Party in Canada, well-known management consultant, great guy, bump into him all the time in Davos and so on, just to drop a name. And his colleague, Leanne McAlear, and he's going to start, and then you're going to summon her on, and away you go. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to be talking about the decimation of retail in an era of disruptive innovation. And we've already heard that this has more power than the first lunar landing module. Bit of a worry if you were an old astronaut, eh? But it actually, I'm holding in my hand more raw computing power than IBM's largest mainframe of 15 years ago. And you all have it in your pockets, too. And this is disrupting many industries. What we see here is the use of different platforms to access the internet. And you can actually see the desktop is no longer the dominant way we access the internet. In fact, that also means that in terms of an OS, Windows is no longer king. It's actually Android. And that is really having an impact on the retailers that understand the critical nature of mobile and are mobile-centric, like Amazon. I'd just like to show you, and just so you understand, 80% of the toys at Christmas, or 80% of the toys in a year are sold at Christmas, okay? I just want to show you Christmas sales. This is Amazon's Christmas sales compared to everyone else. Does that look crushing to you? In fact, let's look at the market cap or value. This is the value of Amazon compared to 8 retailers, Walmart, Target, you can see them all, Best Buy. And this is the impact over a decade, 11 years. So Sears has fallen 97%. The company that invented the catalog is going to go bankrupt. We heard that yesterday. I picked this topic 3 months ago, and a lot has happened in the last 3 months. The only retailer that has treaded water has been Walmart, and it's only up 12% over 11 years. So it's trended sideways. And look at Amazon. It's up 2,673%. At what point in time do you say uncle? At what point, apparently not yet, right? This led Warren Buffett to sell $3 billion of his stock in Walmart because he said Amazon is unstoppable. This is the sales of US square footage in-store retail declining $100 billion, $100 billion in just 11 years. Even Dr. Evil knows that's bad. This is from the Globe and Mail, and what it shows is the percentage of sales in apparel in stores, and that's in red, and on the internet in gray. And like I get if you're buying a book from Amazon, like a book is a book is a book. But if you're buying a dress, I don't buy any dresses online, but if you were buying a dress online, wouldn't you want to try it out first? Wouldn't that be important to you? Wow. Look at the incredible amount. In fact, when you look at Amazon, this is what the Globe and Mail published about the prediction of the rise of sales of apparel through Amazon. And there's now something called Amazon merch. So you want to buy a t-shirt? We have some friends who just became doctors. In fact, one of them is in the audience tonight. She's Dr. Nurse Pam. Like, she's a nurse but became a doctor. She's a PhD. Anyway, we call her Dr. Nurse Pam. So we got her a shirt. Oh, I'm ruining we haven't given it to her yet. Okay, I can't tell you what her shirt says, but it's like custom made, right? Just for her. So you can order this online, and boom, it arrives. Fascinating. So does that mean that Amazon is now a manufacturer as well as a deliverer Oh, interesting question. Anybody here subscribe to Amazon Prime, just by show of hands? About 40, 50, 45% of the audience. Now, with Amazon Prime, you pay $99 a year, and everything is shipped to you 2 days, or in some places, 1 day free shipping. It's like an all-you-can-eat buffet of shipping, right? Now, why is this so important? Well, this is my favorite toothpaste, and it costs $5.95. Am I going to go to a website and pay $7.95 of shipping for my favorite toothpaste? I don't think so. But if I'm an Amazon, now, that's my sister laughing. She knows how frugal I am. But I'm not going to do that. It just doesn't make economic sense. But if I subscribe to Amazon Prime, and it's free anyways, I want to order every single thing I'm ever going to buy via Amazon Prime. Like, my definition of fun is not driving out to the mall, parking, getting a ding in my car, having to go in and find the retailer is out of my favorite toothpaste. Like, how is that of any benefit to anyone? I don't understand. So this is the growth of Amazon Prime subscriptions just in the US. And if I were a retailer, this would be a frightening slide. Because let's look at the next one. This is how much a family that is a Prime subscriber buys, $2,500 a year, and a non-Prime family buys about $500. That's 4.6x difference. In other words, it creates a barrier to exit. Every single thing I ever want to buy, I go Amazon, because I want to get my full buffet of $99 of free shipping. These are called the Echo. They're not in Canada yet, but these are AI, artificial enabled intelligences. It's a speaker that you put in your house, and she's called Alexa. These are called an Echo and an Echo Dot. And you can say, Alexa, what's the weather like today? And she'll say, well, it's going to be 20 degrees and pleasant. Thank you, Alexa. I'll ride my motorcycle to ideacity today. Alexa, what's the best recipe for beef bourguignon? And I'm in the kitchen, and she'll read me the recipe. I can say, Alexa, I want to buy a clicker, a Logitech clicker with a laser pointer. Can you put that on my shopping list? Of course, Jim. Now, think about this. Every other retailer in the world only knows what I want when I go into the store to buy it and find it's not on the shelf. But Amazon knows what I intend to buy before I decide to buy it. And it can apply an algorithm and says, Jim buys 72% of every single thing that he puts on his shopping list. And Kathy buys 97%. She's very fastidious, And Tracy, she only buys 32.4% of what she puts on her shopping list. And across a metropolitan GTA, they can apply that algorithm to each of us personally and predict with exactitude what we're about to buy before we have bought it. Should that frighten retailers? Amazon had filed a patent on blimps that will fly about Toronto and other cities once they have approval and carry a payload of inventory and drop down drones to give us 30-minute delivery. You thought 1 or 2 day delivery was great? What about 30-minute delivery, right? Now, whoever defined this as fun? You want to buy that really hot, crazed doll for your niece, your daughter, your granddaughter at Christmas, and is the definition of fun going to a shopping mall with 7,000 other people and jostling? And wouldn't you rather sit in the convenience of your home, order it, configure it, walk out to your lawn and put down a QR code, and that's how it tells where to land, and have a drone bring it to you in the 30-minute window that your granddaughter is not at your house? Boom. Wouldn't you rather do that? These blimps today take a 20-ton payload. That's a lot of Cabbage Patch dolls. This is something called the Amazon Dash button. You buy it for $4.99 from Amazon, and you put it on your washing machine. It's Wi-Fi enabled to your home network. You push it, and it yells out to Amazon, hey, I'm out of Tide. Send it to me on my free Prime shipping, right? Now, you pay $4.99, but the first time you order Tide, Tide gives you a discount or a credit of $4.99. Why would they do that? Because look, there's only one dash button on my washing machine, and it says Tide on it. Now, you can buy these dash buttons for a number of other things. Some of them, it's very important to have 30-minute delivery. Really, what this is about, what Amazon has continually focused on is eliminating friction. What are the pain points? What do our customers not like to deal with in terms of us at retail? Credit Suisse this week just came out and said 25% of US shopping malls will be shuttered by 2022. Think about pension funds in Canada. What do they invest in? What we can trust. Real estate. Blockbuster franchises. You know, this is going to have a profound impact. Hudson's Bay just announced they were going to lay off 2,000 people. I didn't plan this when I said I was going to talk about the decimation of retail, but it's all happening. Now, don't worry, we are still going to have Yorkdale. Thank God. You were stressing me out, Jim. It's not all retail will close. The best will continue, but it's the ones that are most marginal that will go and sink. And so it's not just retail that's being disruptive, it's all these industries. These are executives telling you how much or in a disruption they feel will occur in the next 12 months. So my email, jim@jimharris.com. I'm delighted to be here. It's been such an honor. You know, I spoke about disruption for 17 minutes last year, and now we've had a whole day on it. Isn't that amazing? Just incredible. It's my honor to introduce the program director on the Center of Excellence in Innovation of the Schulich Executive Education Center that teaches executives here in Canada, Leanne McAlear.
Thank you. Thanks, Jim. Hi, everyone. I am so happy to be here and so happy to be talking about what happens actually in organizations and how we create friction and frictionless organizations in times of disruption. So 84% of executives and leaders say that innovation is a high priority. Well, given what we have just spent 2 days doing, that's not going to be a surprise at all. Yet, 94% say they are dissatisfied with their firm's innovation performance. Now, I don't know about you, but I think that's a stunning statistic. 95% are dissatisfied. So, because I work with organizations around the world, I think, what are the reasons for that? And there are many, but I think that there are two really important ones. The first has to do with this very experience we have had, this kind of tsunami of change. And I'm really, the quote I like is the one by Havel, the former president of the Czech Republic, who says, the change is so fast that we have not yet had time to be astonished. The catching up with us. And what happens, I think, for organizations in times like this, the second era of internet, is that they start experiencing what I call performance anxiety. And they start looking for, because it's scary. I mean, it can, stop you in your tracks, this kind of change that we're experiencing. And so what happens in organizations is very often they'll go to that which is easiest. And one of the things we're finding is that one of the places to go is to technology. So what'll happen is I'll work with a company and I'll say, what's your innovation strategy? And they will say, we have an app, right? Or our phone, our website is now mobile enabled. And they proudly step back. So it's really, now we need technology. Of course we do. Look at the life that lies ahead of us because of it. So interesting. And we need mobile strategies, digital strategies, of course we do. But what we don't want to do is confuse technology with innovation. Technology is an enabler. The input is creativity. That's what we have to harness. And that brings us, and that exists in people. So that brings us to the second reason I believe that people are dissatisfied with their performance. And it has to do with what I call kind of innovation envy. So there's technology, and then there's innovation envy. And this is because here you go. We have heard in those last 2 days about organizations that are doing extremely well in this environment. There are people who are succeeding. And yet, think about it. If you are a small business, as many of us are, or a medium-sized business, or a traditional business that doesn't have a huge technological hook, this is, a bit scary, and yet organizations are doing really well. And so you kind of hold back and think, I wonder why we're not doing as well as we might. Now, we have really good information in terms of successful innovators, what they do and how they do it. And there was a great study done in the Globe and Mail about, a couple years back, and it looked at 350 executives across Canada and asked them some serious, kind of more granular questions around innovation. They too agreed that it was critical and indeed important. Great. And then everything kind of fell off the table. Do we have a culture that supports it? 45%, only 45% felt they did. Here's the kicker. Do we understand it? Only 37% of leaders feel that they understand innovation. Only 33% think they're effective at it, and only 22 have any kind of formal process for it. Well, there might be a reason you're dissatisfied. Just saying. So, if we kick back from that for a second, and we think about everything we have heard at this conference, the scientists yesterday, the technologists, all of them talking about the beating heart of this thing being creativity plus rigor. Those two things together, multidisciplinary, a mosh pit of people, and extraordinary things can happen. Great. So there are some fundamental things that need to happen in organizations, and then there's some quick things that you can do. So the first, and really most important, the fundamental, which is not going to be a surprise if you're interested in rigor, is you have to, in your organization, embed a process. You have to have an innovation process that your whole organization understands and can engage in. Terrific. Then, and you have to make it simple, easily understood. You can use a 4-step process. You can actually Google a process and then communicate it to your organization and get people involved in it. 4 steps from insight through to implementation. Perfect. Now, why is having a process so important? Here's why. Because this is the way that you apply creativity and extract it and nurture it and foster it and express it in an organization. What we know is this: the most significant source of innovative ideas in an organization is actually the people who work in it. I mean, who is closer to the rock face of a company than the people who are working in customer experience every day, in shipping every day, in all those interactions every day. And here's the other thing we know. We know that successful innovators are absolutely thinking in terms of disruption. Of course they are. And they're thinking in terms of radical. But this is important. 60 to 70% of successful innovators, of their innovation focus and effort is actually spent on incremental innovation. Incremental. Now, small innovations, and this, your biggest asset, the people who are in your company, are deeply involved with every day. Now, what we know is that incremental innovation is not going to propel you into the future, but what it is going to do is it's going to keep you healthy. It's going to keep you juicy. It's going to have your people be able to be ready for what's next. Plus, it's going to tap their creativity. Because here's what we know. There was an Adobe study done about 2 years ago, thousands of people around the world. And the big insight was that less than 20% of people feel that they use their creativity at work. Like, that's frightening. What's happening to that creativity? I'll tell you. They have it. We have it. We use it every day in traffic in Toronto. So let's bring it home, baby. So part of our job then is to, and this is the hack, what we have to do is we have to invite our people to play, to use that incredible capacity they have that everyone here has talked about and has. We have to do that. We have to create an environment where ideas, as Matt Ridley says, where ideas can bump into each other, where people and ideas can kind of populate. And really, this is what Matt Ridley says. We have to create an environment where ideas can have sex, which means that leadership becomes about promoting promiscuity, which I think is like delightful. Oh my. Anyway, here's the news. If we do this, if we engage our people with a very simple process, we will have more ideas and more cost effectiveness and more value than we could ever come to expect if we didn't tap it. So we have to tap it, and this is what will happen. We can self-fund your innovation efforts. It's fantastic, it's brilliant, you're brilliant, thank you very much.